Since 2018, hundreds of Iranian Christians have been baptized in churches across Europe. Not because missionaries found them, but because they found each other. They fled one of the most anti-Christian regimes on earth. And what they built when they arrived, nobody predicted. This is their story. What you're about to hear answers a question nobody thought to ask. What happens to a secret Christian when the secret no longer has to be kept? Everything in this documentary comes from verified reporting by the Christian Chronicle, Open Doors, and documented accounts from Iranian Christian diaspora communities across Europe. But before we get into what Iranian Christians found in Europe, you need to understand something that makes this story completely unlike any refugee story you have heard before. Because these people didn't just escape a country, they escaped a version of themselves. And what they became on the other side is something the Iranian regime never saw coming. When the wave of Iranian refugees began arriving in Europe in 2018, church communities across Austria, Germany, and Sweden noticed something unexpected. Among the thousands of Iranians arriving, a quiet but significant number were already secretly Christian. They had converted inside Iran, in basements, through encrypted apps, through satellite television. They had practiced their faith completely alone, never attending a church, never meeting another believer in person. Then they arrived in Europe, and for the first time in their lives, they walked through an open church door. One congregation in Vienna, the Polgasa Church of Christ, baptized over 100 Iranian and Afghan believers in just 8 years. Not through aggressive outreach, not through programs or campaigns, simply by being open and being there. But here is what nobody tells you about Iranian Christians in Europe. The freedom they found was not just religious, it was deeply personal. In Iran, faith had been a secret so heavy it shaped every relationship they had. Every conversation, every friendship, every family dinner. In Europe, for the first time, they could simply say out loud what they believed, without calculating the consequences, without checking who was listening. One Iranian woman who now worships openly in Vienna said, "In Iran, I prayed with my eyes open, always watching the door. Here I close my eyes for the first time in my life, and I feel safe." Her name, for her family's safety still inside Iran, we will call her Sahar. She fled Iran in 2021. She had been secretly Christian for 4 years before she left. 4 years of hiding a faith so carefully that her own mother didn't know. She arrived in Austria alone. She spoke no German, she knew nobody. A volunteer at a refugee processing center, noticing a small cross around her neck, quietly asked if she wanted to attend a church service that Sunday. She said yes, not because she was lonely, not because she had nothing else to do, but because, she said, I had been waiting my entire adult life to say yes to that question out loud. That Sunday she sat in a room with 40 other Iranian Christians. All converts, all former secrets, all sitting together in the open for the first time. She described it as the most overwhelming experience of her life, not because of the service itself, but because of the silence before it began. 40 people who had each spent years praying alone in locked room and sitting together, breathing the same air with the door wide open. And then Khamenei died, and everything Sahar had built her new life around, the careful distance from Iran, suddenly shifted. Open Doors reported that Iranian Christians in Europe are now asking a question they never expected to ask. Do we go back? Not all of them. Not yet, perhaps not ever. The Revolutionary Guard still exists, the laws still exist. The uncertainty is still total. But for the first time, the question itself is possible. And for a community that spent years learning what it means to finally be free, the idea of returning to fight for that same freedom for everyone left behind is not as impossible as it once seemed. Sahar prays with her eyes closed now, every Sunday in Vienna, in a room full of people who understand exactly what that means. Iran is changing. Nobody knows how. Nobody knows how fast. But the community that survived 35 years underground, survived the crossing, and built something real on the other side, is watching and waiting and ready. This has been Edge of Faith. Subscribe, because next week we're going inside China, where 100 million Christians are hiding in plain sight, and the government just launched its most aggressive hunt yet. I'll see you then.